Board of Education, January 15th, 2026 meeting to order. Gloria will lead us in the pledge.
Lincoln so graciously was volunteered to say the pledge. Lead us.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lincoln. Vision statement: Lincoln County Schools equipping students to learn, conquer, and succeed. Our mission statement is the mission of Lincoln County Schools in partnership with students, staff, parents, and the community is to equip students with the skills necessary to be a lifelong, productive citizen in an ever-changing global society.
Thank you, Gloria. Before we set the meeting agenda, there's been an addition 7.0, change order number 7, and you got a handout about what the change order is about. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda with the addition?
Before we do that, I'd like to make a motion to add an action item to the agenda. Considering recent events and everything else, I'd like to add the naming of the basketball court after Coach Jackson to the agenda.
I asked Grant about that. Grant, would you tell Philip what you told me a few moments ago?
Yeah, arguably legally can waive its current policy to do something like that without it complying with their current policy, but it's not recommended. I'm not telling you, that's not legal advice. It's just, your policy 1.5 says the board's policies are binding on the board, and you're basically saying we want to violate our own policy tonight. I don't recommend it, but that's just a self-imposed rule, and you waive other policies sometimes for special reasons. So I'm not giving you the direct legal advice. Don't do that tonight, but it does put you in conflict with policy 1.5 that says your policies are binding on yourself.
What does the policy say about not being able to add anything to the agenda?
You can add something to the agenda if it's by majority vote of the board, because it's a regular meeting. So technically for a regular meeting, you don't even have to have an agenda. So you can do with your agenda as you please at a regular meeting.
Okay, so are you saying that I don't need to make a motion to add the item?
You can ask for that item to be added. So the motion to approve the agenda can include 2 added items, the 7.0 that was just added about this change order and whatever.
But should
7B.
Should we opt to wait? You did say we could count, if we come to consensus on the policy, the new policy, we could count this as the first reading, right?
All I'll say is right now you're just creating the agenda, and if you want to be able to talk about what to do about that topic, go ahead and add it as 7P. You're not binding yourself to take any particular action by adding potential name of a facility as 7P. And when we get to 7P, you can decide whether you're going to do that or not. But if you add it to the agenda, at least it's on the to-do list for later tonight.
Well, you have 7N, review the policy.
Right. 7.
Can we add it to the policy and add it?
If you want to make that all part of that discussion on the existing.
Like M1 and M before N?
If you want to discuss that as part of the policy revision, but
That would be violating our own policies.
naming a facility is a different act than discussing a policy change. So that's why I suggested a separate agenda item.
So I would like to add that onto the agenda.
So naming of a facility is now 7P.
And naming the basketball court after Jeff Jackson would be before that. So that would be the new 7N. So N becomes P and,
Well,
right?
let me just put my 2 more cents on it. The whole reason that I was opposed to the naming was because we were not following our policy. We have a policy, then we need to follow it. So if we're going to look at this and change the policy and set it in, then we need to do it officially so that we are in compliance with our policy.
Yeah, the order that they are on the agenda doesn't matter because it's not a.
Well, if we do this policy that's listed in N tonight and we all agree on every line item in it, it would just be the first reading. So the policy would not be in effect.
That's correct. You'd still be waiving a policy if you do it name change or name. You're waiving the policy, whether it's the old policy or the first reading of the new policy. You would be waiving the currently effective policy if you name something tonight. So it doesn't matter what order they're on the agenda. If you want to add that as 7B, it can be discussed at the same time as the existing policy discussion.
And I mean, I'm for it, but I just want to make sure we do it. That, when I asked the question, it was, we could do the first reading, then the second reading, then approve, but also the urgency too. You know? So.
I would suggest just adding it at 7P instead of renumbering existing items, because the order of items on the agenda is not binding on the board. You can take them up in any order you want. So just add it as P, so nothing else has to be renumbered. And then we can discuss that when we get down to that part of the agenda.
Naming of Lincoln County High School basketball court for Jeff Jackson.
That's all good. I just put naming of this
Facility, and we can discuss
so
it
that
when
it
we get
doesn't
there.
look like action.
Okay.
Just naming the facility. Okay, with that addition,
All right, let me make this worse. So, Grant, when we get to that point, in part of the policy recommendation I had made that included three facility namings, do we need to add those as well, or wait, or
If we're just listing the agenda item as potential facility naming,
it covers
you're not tying your hands to 1 or 7 or 33.
it? Okay.
We can be here all night naming things.
okay, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of action item 7.0, change order number 7, and item 7P, naming facility?
I'll make a motion.
Tyler, second.
Second,
Gloria, second. Vote, Gloria.
yes.
Philip,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Oh, and I'll turn it over to Bruce for public, I'm sorry, recognitions.
We're always excited on this part of the agenda is to recognize our students and our staff. And I think Ms. Hart is going to be picture taker tonight. Once you come up to receive your certificate, just go over to the red screen there and she will take your photo, and those will be posted later this evening on the district's webpage, okay? So we'll start off with early childhood, if Ms. Carrier will come forward.
So the student we would like to recognize is Ben Russell. His teacher says Ben has a caring and sharing heart. He helps the classroom run smoothly by following routines, working extra hard, playing with others, and being a kind fan. The staff member we would like to recognize is Miss Kayla Sloan. Miss Sloan may have only been, Miss Sloan may have only been with Lincoln County Schools for 3 years, but her wisdom and knowledge from her previous employment has been an asset to the early childhood program. Kayla knows her students and has the toolkit to support some of our most needy friends with grace. The growth her students obtain in such a short period of time is amazing. She is proactive while working with her students and has a knack for meeting everyone's needs. We are very fortunate to have Kayla working with our students and families.
She was one of my good bus babies. I wish I'd had
Mr. Abbott,
a-
grab board you.
The student that we want to recognize is McKinley Adkins. McKinley, if you would come on up. McKinley embodies everything it means to be a Cub. She consistently demonstrates a strong work ethic and a positive attitude, taking great care to complete tasks and persevere through challenges. She is respectful, kind, and responsible, reflecting excellent character, serving as a positive role model for others in our school. And the staff member that we want to recognize is third grade teacher, Miss Rita Hampton.
Called her bus driver.
Always willing to try new things, Ms. Hampton continually works outside of her comfort zone so that she is the best teacher she can be for her students. Innovative, dedicated, and deeply committed to student success, she strengthens teaching and learning throughout our building and even in the district. Her strong work ethic and willingness to continuously learn, reflect, and grow makes Ms. Hampton an invaluable asset to our school community.
She lives up with my triplets, so she knows the star there as well.
Three stars.
Yeah, 3 star.
Ms. Goldsmith, Highland Elementary.
The student that we are recognizing is Miss Tinsley Thornburg. Tinsley goes above and beyond each and every day inside and outside of the classroom. She is always on task, tries her hardest, and turns in quality work every day. Tinsley also embodies our SOAR expectations at Highland Elementary and is a great example for other students in our school. Tinsley is a joy to have in class, a trustworthy student, and a great friend to others. All right, our staff that we are recognizing is Ms. Rhonda Bullock, and bear with me, this is very lengthy, but we have a lot to celebrate. Ms. Bullock coordinates our weekend food program and has served roughly 900 food packs since the beginning of the school year. During the holiday season, 109 students received Christmas assistance, which included our old-fashioned Christmas event. During the event, students were fed a Christmas meal, took pictures with Santa, received toys, and opportunity to craft Christmas ornaments. All this was made possible by the support of community members who donated roughly $7,500 worth of toys and clothing. Ms. Bullock started the Sky Sisters Girls Club, which focuses on community service opportunities, building confidence, and spreading kindness. Currently, the club consists of 11 female 5th grade students that meet on Tuesday evenings. During the fall semester, Ms. Bullock hosted the Mountain of Love Food Drive, where 2 businesses made monetary donations of $10,000. In addition, several churches collected food items and made additional monetary donations totaling $11,000. During the month of December, Ms. Bullock decorated a tree called the Tree of Warmth with gloves, toboggans, and scarves. Students were invited to take what they needed to help stay warm this winter. In addition, Ms. Bullock ensures students have what they need to be successful at school on a daily basis. She has provided numerous school supplies, 83 winter coats, 71 clothing items, and 29 pairs of shoes since September. Currently, Ms. Bullock is partnering with several community members and organizations in coordination with our cafeteria manager to plan Ag Week, which will take place during the month of March. We're hoping this will be our biggest event of the year. Congratulations and thanks for all you do.
Mr. Bill, Mr. Levin.
All right, we'll start with Mr. Lane Jordan. Come on up, Lane. Says, we are so proud to recognize Lane Jordan for his outstanding effort and character. Lane is a true hard worker who gives his very best in everything he does. He's extremely responsible, takes pride in his work, and can always be counted on to do the right thing. Lane is also kind to everyone and is always willing to help others, making our classroom a better place each day. Way to go, Lane. We are so proud of you. And our staff member is Miss Amy Holtzclaw. Miss Amy is exceptionally connected to our students and puts her entire heart into teaching. She goes above and beyond for her students to make each of them feel seen and loved every single day, even when it's hard. She's an amazing teacher and coworker who has such a big heart for students and is constantly going out of her way to make sure the people around her are taken care of. We're so proud of her and so happy she is a Houstonville Tiger.
Duncan, Stanford.
Good evening. We would like to recognize one of our 4th grade students tonight, Noah Davis. If you want to come on up, Noah. Noah is a hardworking and determined student who perseveres even when faced with challenges. He consistently cares about his academic performance and takes pride in doing his best in his studies. In addition, he shows respect toward both his classmates and his teachers, contributing to a positive and supportive learning environment. This is a great young man. I'm very proud of you, sir. You are very welcome. We would also like to recognize our attendance clerk, Miss Tiffany Langford. Come on in. Miss Tiffany consistently goes above and beyond in everything she does. She is always up for any challenge, approaches every task with a positive attitude, and can be relied upon to get the job done right. A true team player, she is dependable, trustworthy, and willing to help wherever needed. Her kindness and dedication make her an invaluable part of our team and truly deserving of this award. And I love her.
Mr. Willis, Langsford.
All right, our student to be recognized tonight is Mr. Maverick McWhirter. Come on down. Maverick consistently demonstrates exceptional kindness, consideration, and respect towards peers and staff alike. He approaches situations with empathy and maturity. He is a thoughtful and intelligent learner who approaches challenges with curiosity, determination. His positive attitude, strong character, and academic ability help him grow and thrive every day. So congratulations. And our staff to be recognized tonight is Missy York. I don't think she is here tonight. She is one of our kindergarten instructional assistants. She is a kind and caring presence in our kindergarten with our kindergarten students. Through her many years of dedicated service as a kindergarten assistant, she has nurtured and supported our youngest learners, helping them thrive and grow into confident and joyful students. So, congratulations.
Good evening, everybody. For our Patriot Award student, we would like to recognize Ms. Kendall McClure. Kendall is focused, grounded, and dedicated, exemplifying a rare, consistent maturity in the often mixed maturity environment of the middle school. Her teachers and coaches describe her as dependable, committed to doing her best, a contributor, and a positive role model for her peers. She puts these attributes to work in the classroom, on the volleyball court, and as a member of the Beta and FFA clubs. She promotes good character as a facilitator with first priority. The most impressive compliment was that Kendall demonstrates these characteristics when she thinks nobody is looking. We're very proud of Kendall and look forward to seeing her future accomplishments. And for our staff member, I'd like to recognize Ms. Beta Kim. Ms. Kim has been asked to take on an exceptionally difficult task with her teaching assignment. She works through difficulties with remarkable patience and grace. This award recognizes a teacher who is consistently kind, thoughtful, and brings an upbeat spirit to every room she enters. Colleagues describe her as hardworking and deeply committed to both her students and her content. She approaches challenges with professionalism, positivity, and a genuine desire to do what is best for kids. To her students, she is seen as someone who makes learning engaging while making every student feel seen and supported. Her classroom is a place where high expectations are paired with care, humor, and encouragement. This award honors the lasting impact she will have on our school community through her dedication, character, and a heart for teaching.
Willoughby, coming on stage.
Well, since we're doing recognitions, I do want to recognize the board for Board Appreciation Month. And our MSD students are in each classroom, created these on our 3D printer and our cell phones. So I just want to give you a sample of what those students are doing. So, the staff member I want to recognize there's always jobs that no one wants to do. And when you have a construction project, those jobs increase drastically. So Miss Greta Gooch, if you could come up. Miss Greta. Greta's one of our newest employees. Actually, she's only been with us this school year, but just by the luck of the draw has had every crummy job there was, from sitting in the hallway, monitoring bathrooms, to sitting in the ticket booth, letting all the visitors come in and checking them in and out. So I wanted to recognize her because everything she's done with a positive attitude. But Greta serves as an instructional assistant, but her impact reaches far beyond her job title. She has been incredibly valuable, flexible, and dependable, always willing to step in whatever role is needed to help, whether she is supporting students and teachers in the classroom or assisting as a second office secretary during our ongoing construction. Greta approaches every task with a positive attitude and a servant's heart. She consistently puts the needs of our school first, adapting to challenges with professionalism and grace. Her willingness to help in any capacity ensures that our school continues to run smoothly, even during times of transition. Greta's dedication, work ethic, and commitment to our students and staff do not go unnoticed. We are extremely grateful for all she does each day to support Lincoln County High School. Thank you, Greta, for being an exceptional part of our school.
She also learned from her best friend.
The student we'd like to recognize is Miss Ashlyn Wooten, our 2025-26 Distinguished Young Woman. So beyond that, Ashlyn is an honor roll student who consistently demonstrates strong character, dedication, and commitment to excellence both inside and outside the classroom. She leads by example, carrying herself with humility and reflects the values we strive to instill in all of our students. Ashlyn is a shining example of what it means to be a Lincoln County patriot, and we are extremely proud of her achievements in the way that she represents our school. Congratulations, and thank you for setting such a high standard for all others.
Real quick, I just want to jump in. Mr. Wilby, please pass on to Ms. Redding that we appreciate what they've done. If you have never gone to that classroom and visited them, there are some inspirational stories in there. And it's really quite phenomenal what Ms. Redding does with those kids. So highly encourage everybody to go visit.
Okay, that does conclude the recognition part of the agenda. You're more than welcome to stay. The board will stand at ease for a few moments if you would like to excuse yourself. Thank you. Great evening.
Missed out on a lot. She missed out on a lot of good influence.
Mr. Brown,
George Brown.
Moon.
Yeah, okay, so I had Newland marked on my drive.
Yeah. Trying to think who all else.
And then he retired right. I guess, but that's nice. I had Joe Reed.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Brown, when I was little, and Moon when I was over.
Joe run a tight ship. Joe run a tight ship.
Oh, Joe Reed. I tell you what, we got out of school early one time, and it was ice, and it got bad. And we were up there, Steve, there was a call second. I think he could get around and came back in that bus, all the way out to something.
I'm offline.
Okay, we will now move on. Any questions on the consent agenda? Oh, public comment.
No public comment, sorry.
Okay. All right, then you have the superintendent staff report. Questions on those?
I just noticed that it seems like our enrollment, we down about 9 students since the beginning of the year.
Let me give you a little history. This district has lost about 1,000 students over the last 15, 20 years. We did drop below 3,000 students. Yes, and that's
90
not,
students
that
in
is
the
not a Lincoln thing. No, that is a trend across the nation, across the Commonwealth. More rural school districts are getting to lose enrollment. So one good thing is our attendance, our ADA is up from where it has been in the past, so that's good. That will help, but enrollment is down, yes.
90 students? I thought it was like 50.
50 at high school,
Oh, is it 50 at the high school?
roughly.
I mean, I haven't looked at each individual, I just kind of look at the overall number. Looking at some historical data, we were a little over 4,000 kids about 15, 20 years ago. So we've lost about 1,000 kids.
Matt, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I would like for the board to consider increasing the virtual option at some point. We are losing a ton of kids to homeschool for whatever reason. We contacted a lot of those students this week and had roughly 20 that said they would come back if they were able to come back on a virtual pathway. We currently are full and we're working to try to figure things out, but that's going to be an ongoing battle.
Is Mr. Bittern in charge of that, right? Good plan. Bring it to us.
It'll just take some more staffing to do that.
So everything takes some.
Isn't it all?
Having 20 more students would generate revenue.
We just need a plan and figure out if the cost is worth the reward.
Let me say that we are bringing those students back, but I'm providing the allocation for that to happen by redoing some of what we've got going on at the high school to free up one teacher for one period that will allow that teacher to service those students for that to happen. But that's about all I'm able to do with that.
Like Philip said, bring us a plan. Let us-
Our student rep would like to say something.
I was just gonna say, as a student, me and Amy with the Frisk Center are set sailing for a campaign to try and stop the I hate school stigma and try to raise the numbers up of student attendance dropping.
Good.
Appreciate that.
Well, let us know if there's anything we can do to help.
Moving on to consent items. Any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve the consent items 6A through 6F? Philip, second.
I'll second.
Gloria, second. Vote Gloria.
Yes.
Philip.
Yes.
Jen.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I vote yes.
No donations this time? think
I
it-
didn't see any.
Okay.
It'd be nice, but you're sure. I looked a couple times, I didn't see it. Okay, moving to the action items, 7A, change orders number 1 and number 3 for bid packages 2. Bid package 2, Leanne.
All right, so again, just asking for approval for change order number 1, which is in the amount of the negative 39,000, and change order number 3, which is a positive 39,000. So it's a no cost net, and we just need to get those approved. Just some kind of cleanup.
I'll make a motion. Well, Christine's gonna read it first.
Do I hear a motion to approve change order number 1 in the amount of negative 39,000 and change order number 3 in the amount of 39,000 for Lincoln County High School renovations bid package 2? Gloria.
I'll make the motion.
Jen, second. Vote Gloria.
Yes.
Philip.
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I vote yes. 7B, pay app number 3 and DPOs for Lincoln County renovation bid package 2. Leanne.
Correct. So we have pay at number 3 from Branscombe, and that amount is the $383,225.89. And then we have the direct purchase orders. We have an amount due to the Allen Company for $14,521.13.
Do I hear a motion to approve pay application number 3 in the amount of $383,225.89 and direct purchase orders payment of $14,521.13 for the Lincoln County High School renovations bid package 2? Jen.
I'll second.
Tyler, second. Vote Gloria.
Yes.
Philip.
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I vote yes. 7C, pay application number 7 and DPOs for Lincoln County High School renovation bid package 1. Leanne.
Yep, so this is on the the bid package one, Branscombe, the amount due is $12,163.64. I just wanted to point out that the balance to finish plus the retainage is the $241,768.60 after we pay this one. We have a direct purchase order amount, due to PPG for $4,976.37.
Do I hear a motion to approve pay application number 7 in the amount of $12,163.64 and direct purchase orders payment of $4,976.37 for the Lincoln County High School renovation bid package 1?
I'll make a motion.
Tyler, second.
I'll say.
Philip, vote Gloria.
Yes.
Philip,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
And I do have an update. I'm trying to be Brad here a little bit. He sent me some things to pass on to you all. General update on the high school project. We should have drawings from Clotfelter on the proposed wall removal and the added parking at the next meeting. That was per Ben Boggs. His next note was that he's anticipating a change order for sanitary work and grading at the next meeting, but that's what we actually got in today that we'll be approving at the end of the agenda. So he just wanted to make sure he was keeping you updated. I'm sure he'd mentioned if you've been through the high school parking lot and looked down, you notice the baseball field, the turf's moving along quickly, and I'm sure the softball field will be right behind that. So those two things, which are very visible, are making good progress. So
7, any questions, comments? 7D, snow removal, Leanne.
our current contract is with Cutting Edge for snow removal, and that ends on February the 28th. And both the district and the vendor wish to extend this contract for an additional year. So I'm asking you all to approve the extension of the contract with Cutting Edge for snow removal for the time period of March 1st, 2026 to February 28th, 2027.
Do I hear a motion to extend the contract with Cutting Edge for snow removal from March 1st, 2026 to February 28th, 2027?
I make a motion.
Gloria, second. Jan, vote Gloria.
Yes.
Philip,
Yes.
Jan.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I vote yes. 7E, mowing services, Leanne.
Requesting permission to accept sealed bids for mowing services for the 2026 mowing season.
Any questions?
And this is the only requirement is in the newspaper, right?
Mhm.
Can we get it out on social media?
Sure.
I mean, we don't have a lot of.
And it's,
As a mailman, I can tell you, there's not a lot of newspapers being delivered to
Sure.
Stanford and.
this one is always a popular one. I don't think we'll have any trouble getting bids. Typically, we're at least seeing 10 to 12. We've already had people call and asking, is mowing going up for bid? So I think we'll have a plethora of options to choose from, hopefully some good ones, reasonably priced.
Good.
Do I hear a motion to approve to advertise for and accept sealed bids for mowing for the 2026 mowing season?
I'll make a motion.
Philip, second.
I'll second.
Tyler, vote Gloria.
Yes.
Philip,
Yes.
Jan,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I vote yes. 7F, 2026-2027 draft budget.
So the draft budget's required to be presented to you all by the end of January, and so I have made no changes from our discussion from last week. So just asking you all to approve the draft budget as presented.
Any
I
questions?
have a couple. So I was speaking to Diana earlier, and I was trying to refresh my memory to make sure this wasn't impactful last year, but I don't think it was. So I know there were cuts to title funding, and so are we going to start seeing that this year?
We will. I mean, I think our cuts overall, so we anticipated large cuts, and those ended up not happening because we didn't know exactly how it was going to flow down from the federal level. We did end up seeing some reduction. It's actually due to our census numbers here in the county because, when they allocate out, the fewer people you got, the less money you're going to get. So we actually saw that impact somewhat this year already. But that is contained within our Fund 2, our grants budget, and that is not actually included in the draft budget, but those talks will come into play when we go in May to look at our tentative budget. That's kind of why this draft budget doesn't include items like that, because sometimes it's too early to tell. A lot of times, even by May, we don't know. We might have a better idea, but hopefully by that time, we'll have a better understanding of what things are going to look like for next year. Sometimes even by the time we get to the working budget in September, we still don't know.
Right.
I mean, sadly enough, but we just do our best to be proactive and anticipate. But yeah, if there are reductions, like that, we will just implement them and do the best we can.
Any other comment, question? Do I hear a motion to approve the 2026-2027 draft budget?
Make a motion.
Gloria, second.
I'll say.
Philip, second. Vote, Gloria.
Yes.
Philip.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I vote yes. 7G, bids for school photos. Leanne.
Yeah, I'm asking for approval to continue using Strawbridge Studios for all photography at the elementary schools, and the district will receive 30% commission off their sales, and approve using Life Touch at the middle school and the high school, and they will pay 20% commission. This is the setup we've used for I think the past 3 years. We did rebid it, but decided that would probably be the best way to proceed again.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve using Strawbridge Studios for all photography at elementary schools and Life Touch at the middle school and high school? Jen, second. Philip. Vote, Gloria.
Yes.
Philip.
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I vote yes. 7H, SFCC offer of assistance. Leanne.
So this is something we did not have in time to talk about last week, but of course, when they send it out, they're like, you got 30 days to get it approved and get it back. So here we are, just doing the best we can. SFCC, which is the School Facilities Construction Commission, they make an offer of assistance to us every 2 years. And so the offer that we've received is $16,716 toward annual debt service on any bonds that we would sell after June 30th of 2026. So basically that's saying SFCC would make a debt payment in the amount of $16,000 per year. And that would support a debt service of approximately like $200,000. So, I'm not saying this is how we would do it, but if we had a $200,000 project, we could say, hey, we want to use this money. We aren't out of pocket any money and put it toward making that debt service payment every year. Like I said, we get these every 2 years. We have 8 years from the award date to spend that money. So we've actually got several past awards that we haven't used yet, but those are used to calculate our bonding capacity. So when Lincoln says your bonding capacity is this, it includes these offers of assistance. So we have several, and we just use those either as we come upon a project where we need some money, or if it's becoming close to time where it's going to expire, and we'll put it towards something.
Sometimes, this example is like when we replaced the bubble, there was some stipulation there, it has to be kind of on the roof. So that's.
It has to be a priority 1 or 2 on your district facility plan. Those are the restrictions on using these offers.
So they pay $16,000 for this one in particular, $16,000 a year for so many years. They don't say,
Right.
well, we're going to do it for 5 years, so that's $80,000. So that's just all at once.
No. And sadly enough, this is much less than offers that we previously received. I got it now. 2 years ago, our offer was $54,000. A couple years before that, $62,000. A couple years before that, $49,000. So, big drop down with that. But we have several offers that aren't used that are added into our bonding capacity. Right now, we have an offer from our 2018 offer amounts to about $350,000 in bonding capacity. Our 2022 offer is $785,000. The 2024 offer, $675,000, and now the 2026 offer would bond about $200,000. So, we obviously appreciate those and always use them, but much less this year than we've seen previously.
But
So
even if it's less, we'll take it.
Even if it's less.
Something is better than nothing.
Right, so all total, the current offers that we haven't used amount to a little over $2 million in bonding, so. Anyway, if you all will approve that offer of assistance in the amount of $16,716, we'll get all the paperwork back to them, so.
Do I hear a motion to accept the SFCC offer of assistance in the amount of $16,716? Jen, second.
Second.
Gloria. Vote, Gloria.
Yes.
Philip.
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I vote yes.
All right.
7I, MOA with Gaines and Associate Counseling. Jeannie.
Just asking the board to approve the memorandum of agreement with Gaines and Associates Counseling so they can provide mental health counseling services to our students.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement with Gaines and Associates Counseling to provide mental health services?
I'll make a motion.
Tyler, second. Philip, vote Gloria.
Yes.
Philip,
Yes.
Jan,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
and I vote yes. 7J, shortened school day. Julie?
I'm just requesting approval for one student for 60 minutes one time a week for a shortened school day for medically necessary therapy.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve a shortened school day for student number 48? Jan, second.
I'll second.
Tyler, vote. Gloria?
Yes.
Philip?
Yes.
And Jan?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
And I vote yes. 7K, transportation waiver. Kim?
Our funded program is seeking approval for a transportation waiver required for Head Start regulations. The waiver will allow for students to be transported on district buses without a seatbelt requirement for field trips. The waiver hasn't changed since last year and
Any questions?
I just want to say that when you brought this up last week and we had that discussion about seat belts and school buses, Leanne, you were part of that too.
Mhm.
What came out of that meeting is I've had about 6 parents since then tell me, thank you guys for talking about that, because I always wondered why we didn't do that. And so just that side conversation really made a difference to 6 parents understanding.
We had a conversation with Mr. Craig at our Monday morning meeting, so. Joe, you have
What's the
anything?
question?
It's not a question.
It's not.
The information that was provided about the seat belts and the school buses.
Right.
I had several parents tell me, thank you for us talking about that, because they always wondered and now they understand why.
Gotcha.
So it was just good to get the information out there.
Do I hear a motion to approve the transportation waiver for the Lincoln County Early Childhood Program?
I make a motion.
Philip, second. Jan, vote. Gloria?
Yes.
Philip?
Yes.
Jan?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
And I vote yes. 7L, eligibility criteria for early childhood program.
so the early childhood program is seeking approval for the 26-27 school year eligibility criteria for our Head Start preschool and early Head Start students. No changes have been made since last year and
Do I hear a motion to approve the 2026-2027 eligibility criteria for Head Start preschool and early Head Start programs? Jan, second. Philip, vote. Gloria?
Yes.
Philip?
Yes.
Jan?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
And I vote yes. 7M, early childhood update program guidelines. Kim?
our early childhood program is requesting approval to amend our guidelines HL1 and HL2. This is so that it'll correlate with our state standards as well as our Head Start performance standards and nothing.
Do I hear a motion to approve the updated program guidelines, HL1 and HL2? Jan, second.
I'll second.
Tyler, vote. Gloria?
Yes.
Philip?
Yes.
Jan?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, and I want to thank you all for sending me your suggestions. We're looking at 7N, review of policy council 05.1, construction. I think, Tyler, you want to?
Well, I will say this, and looking at everybody's recommendations, mine was nowhere near as lengthy or professionally done. So, I mean, I commend everybody for what they did, and I think everybody put in great suggestions. I think the old policy was probably done with good intent, and I'm not gonna sit up here and act like, you know, that I'm the biggest fan of naming things at all. But as I've thought about it, you know, I don't think Lincoln County is ready to give up that tradition of naming things. I think a lot of districts are going away from it, and that's fine. I just think Lincoln County, or at least the people who have participated and spoken and contacted us, or well, at least me, I won't speak for everybody, but I think that Lincoln County is not quite ready to give up naming things for people who've meant a lot to our community. And so, you know, I believe that going forward with our new policy, we do need to allow for the naming, and we need to set some kind of criteria and keep that responsibility with the board and not, you know, shirk that off on anyone else. And that, you know, when we do address these things, that people from the individual schools get to speak. And one thing I threw out was Friday morning after we talked about this a little bit Thursday night, and it came up, and I thought about it that night, and I ended up Friday morning, I called some people on, if you remember back, I think it was just about a year ago that we took this up, the last time. We had two main kind of camps that, we had people who really wanted to name the court for Coach Jackson. We had people who want to name it mainly, for Coach Meek, two main groups. And so I touched base with some of those people, and I said, look, what if the board were to consider a compromise where we named the court for Coach Jackson, we renamed the gymnasium for Coach Meek, and then we named the Board of Education complex out here, this building, all the other buildings out here, and that will ever be here, for Jack Johnson. And everybody was very receptive to that. And so I threw that in with part of my policy recommendation, that I think we probably need to allow the naming for individuals, and I think that it's probably time to do that soon, is to make some changes on the facilities we have. And I think if our community wants us to continue doing that, we shouldn't stand in the way of it. So that's mine. I'll be quiet and pass it on to, because like I say, they did a much better job of writing out their policy recommendations.
And I would like to say that I've never been opposed to really naming, but what I am opposed to is changing policy and not doing it in the right way. If you've got a policy, I think you need to abide by it. And that was my biggest issue. I agree with Tyler that if we want to make that change, we need to change our policy, and I'm all for it. If that's what the community wants, and you as our educators and our principals and so on. And so with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Jen and Philip and Gloria, because they really came up with their ideas. So we'll go that route. And we need to come to some kind of agreement so we can count this as our first reading, and then in a working meeting next week, or next month, that would be our second reading. So if one of you want to go.
Something that Jen put in hers that I would wish that I would have put in mine is Jen has in hers that at the high school, students needs to be part of the committee. And I think that needs to be in there. I like that. And then in my recommendation, I have an even number on a committee. Well, if there's a tie, they're broke. So Jen also said 2 board members instead of 1, or I said 1 board member. We need to work on mine to make it 7 instead of 6 people on a committee, or 5 if we're going to, so there's not a.
Yeah, I think whatever facility that it involves, whether it be high school, middle school, elementary school, those are who should be making up these committees. Philip said this, the principal at that school should decide who's on it. Parents, community members. It should be more so, in my opinion, student heavy, community member heavy, teacher heavy, and not as much administration heavy, because the community and the students are the ones who, a lot of times, are the ones that are wanting this more than anything, to have the most input.
Mine is missing.
Now, I also said in mine, I don't want to be responsible for naming anything. I said from the start that I'm very uncomfortable with naming anything, because the scripture that kept coming to my mind every time we was rolling this around was to not esteem anybody higher than anybody else. But Mr. Grant recommended 2 other district policies, and I looked up some more, and the best that I can get figured, naming the facilities just as much my responsibility as raising everybody's taxes that nobody likes for me to do. And every time when I go to training, they tell me if I'm going to sustain the school system, I got to vote to raise taxes. So I guess I got to swallow this up and vote to name a building something after a committee recommends it. It's not my personal, but
Well, since we're all describing what we did, I put mine out there to be more like major facilities, like basketball gyms or basketball courts, gymnasiums, and Stewart Underwood Theater and things like that. That would be controlled by the principals. principals get a committee together, committee makes recommendations, they give the superintendent provides, basically puts those to the board. For things within the school, so like if the school wanted to do a snack room and they wanted to name it the Bruce, I'm sorry, I don't know your middle name, Smith, snack room, and it doesn't go any higher than the school right there, and it's not a generally public access room, then the principal handles that all, and it doesn't need to come to the board. So give the schools back control of their not public access, and then everything else, the committee is formed and it comes to the board and then the board makes the decision. So it sounds like we need to figure out what we're gonna have on our committees first. I guess that'd be the easiest way to do it. And then work our way up. However you guys wanna do it, doesn't matter, but.
I've got the policy pulled up so that we can make this a first reading. I've got our policy.
Well, our current policy is like 3 sentences long.
Yes.
And we're trying to make one that's.
Right. So if you just give the pieces of how you want, so our starts naming of school buildings, building wings. If you give me the parts that you like, I can move them over to our policy for the new, and then we can look at, like, I can just start taking pieces of what's here and moving it over to our policy, and then I'll read it, and we can edit it from there so that we can get a first reading.
So how does the board feel about the way I broke it up? Primary facilities versus secondary facilities, because that's the first. Or do we want everything to come to the board? I think if they're gonna do what's the Tom B. Blankenship room at Crabwood Elementary? What room is that? Conference room? Yeah, like if it's something like the conference room,
Yeah,
let the schools
if
handle that.
Mr. Ledford wants to name the office up there after Marilyn Hafley, I don't want the board to have to approve.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
That, I mean, that's my opinion. You
Yeah.
know, we talk,
Are you
but
good
I
with
don't.
that?
I'm good with that.
Jen?
I'm fine with
Christine?
that, yeah.
So the separation between the primary and the secondary facilities.
I don't know what word to recommend in place of those
Yeah, well,
adjectives, but primary means something in education, and secondary means something in education, so.
how about, publicly accessed facilities versus general staff facilities? Like a conference room or break room or something? Hey, there's some educators out there, throw out some big words.
Well, I think it is the right word, public. I mean, the public only comes in certain parts of the building.
Right, so publicly accessed facilities versus
Non-public,
non-public or.
educational.
Okay, so you want that paragraph that starts for primary, which will make public facilities, the committee shall consist of the principal of the school, 2 parents that have children in the school.
Well,
Which
on
one
my-
are we going with?
On my part, it would be the second paragraph.
Okay.
On my input. And then we can just figure out what belongs in the committees.
All right, so for non-public, so that's how we're starting that naming.
Can I suggest this to the board? Is there one of these that like one of you've read, and then you could take it and start kind of tweaking it so you kind of got some wording here?
Well, Gloria and I are the only two that submitted it kind of in policy format. So out of the two,
And they're pretty
guys,
similar.
which one? Yeah, and they are very similar. So,
Whether you-
take.
One, just use one of your own.
Either one. Either one. I would recommend taking Phillips. I mean, they're very similar. I think take Phillips and
And then we could start cleaning up that language there. I think that would kind of save you some time.
Okay. So from mine, let's go with the first paragraph. Is there anything that anybody wants to change in that or they don't agree with?
Well, that last sentence there, of course, I'm gonna speak for myself, and I think other superintendents, we would probably recommend what the committee brings to us. I don't think the superintendent would want to change what that committee, when I read that, I had just a little bit of concern the way that was written.
Which one are we looking at? Sorry.
Phillips.
Phillips.
So what paragraph?
First paragraph.
First paragraph.
The board shall name.
last sentence.
Or shall appoint a committee reflecting the local community. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Okay. So that's how you want it to start?
So you're saying you want it to be more like the superintendent will present the
The
committee's
committee's
recommendation.
recommendation or something like that, because that could probably be interpreted that he or she might make a
His
different
own.
choice.
Right.
I
His
wouldn't
own
want that, you know.
What am I changing?
the last sentence.
What do you want it to say?
What'd you say?
The superintendent shall present.
Committee's
Committee's recommendation
Yeah.
to the board. This is a thrilling meeting, right?
So in the second paragraph, we've already talked about primary, so I guess remove the word primary and replace it with public access facilities.
Do you want to do rooms or areas as opposed to facilities? Would that be a little more descriptive?
Public areas.
Public areas.
Not, well, yeah, I'm on non-public rooms or areas.
I don't know where
Right where we're at.
Sorry.
First sentence of second paragraph.
Yeah.
right.
Areas subject to naming recommendation referred to as
Public areas.
Okay.
primary facilities is what Philip was saying, let's change to public areas.
Right. Okay, public areas. There you go.
Including gymnasium, auditorium, library, media center, cafeteria, or outdoor property, courtyard, stadium, field, or subparcel of land where students participate in extracurricular or co-curricular activities. Individual classrooms, staff rooms, and other rooms not usually accessed by the public can be named at the school level and not required to be presented to the board. Somebody stop me when you don't agree with it.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you just talking about up there, or you talking about in general?
In
In general.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey.
I mean,
I would hate to be a principal with that responsibility. And it's gonna be a revolving door, so are you gonna rename stuff? So in 5 years, when you get a new principal, they don't like it being called the Fred room.
if it's at your level, then you're the one that makes that decision.
Do you want that, or as principals, would you want that or not? Absolutely not.
I mean, I've named a couple of things to honor a couple of legends in our community. I have.
Mr. Ledford, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it would be fine. I mean, it would be not something you did very often, I don't think, but I mean. It would make it work.
I have a little bit of a question about what we're calling public facing and not public facing. Use of the office, use of the conference
The
room.
general consensus is like if you have a ball game or an FFA event or something like that, where are those people gonna be going? They're gonna be going to the auditorium, the basketball gym, football field, things like that. That's public. If you have one or two visitors that are coming and you're having a conference with them in the conference room, that's not general public access. So that's for you guys to take control.
Okay.
We're trying to give you guys some power and leeway too, without adding a lot of red tape and paperwork to it.
Then there will always be questions, because I'm sitting here thinking, you know, grandparents' day, and you come and eat lunch. So the lunchroom's a public area.
But not
Or it's not.
But not generally.
Not generally.
It's not generally a public.
Can't go
Fall
without.
festival it
Oh,
is.
yeah, cafeterias.
Fall festival it is.
They have a lot of,
Cafeteria.
they're like booster club meetings are there.
Okay, Jim said it.
Well, but cafeteria's listed.
Yeah, it's
listed
as a public area. Yeah, I would.
We're talking about.
Ms. Goldsmith?
Right.
I'm indifferent. I think it's gonna impact the middle and high school more than it is us.
Middle school.
But if it's a committee decision, that makes me feel more comfortable.
Yeah, if it's, especially if it's, well, there's gonna be a committee regardless.
Right.
Depending on where the thing is, but if it's your conference room, you form your committee and then you guys make the decision. It doesn't have to come to us.
Okay.
And you can make the decision to pick a name or to not pick a name also. Paragraph 3. Gloria, you gonna keep reading?
I can.
Show
The
that
board-
way for education.
The board shall name a new school as soon as possible after the decision has been made to build, improve, or develop. Administrative facilities are not required to be named, but if so desired, should follow similar guidelines for the naming of schools. The name should be compatible with the names of other schools, facilities, and properties of the district. At least one of the following factors must be used in naming schools, facilities, and properties. You don't list about a committee being formed anywhere, no, do you? Okay.
That's down below.
At least one of the following factors must be used in naming schools, facilities, and properties. The name of a prominent person who has contributed to the history and/or progress of Lincoln County, such as a name that has been famous in the history of the country, the county, or name of a person who achieved national, state, or local prominence. community leaders, former board members, school leaders, and/or teachers. Major donors of school property or continuous major donations that have helped further the development of the school district and/or has helped to improve opportunities for students and staff. District facilities may be named.
Pause there, if you will. Two questions. One, are we saying these three factors just apply to those public facing facilities? Not if the principal wants to name the staff break room after the former secretary, but that doesn't necessarily fit a person that's been famous in the county. So does this list of three just apply to the big facility, the public facing facilities?
Schools, facilities,
Well,
property.
when I wrote this down, I just assumed it would cover everything, but if there's points of discussion or questions, then let's talk about it.
I'm just trying to think some of those examples of like some previous custodian or a lunch lady or somebody at a school. They would be a prominent person at that school, but not necessarily prominent to the progress of Lincoln County or a famous person.
Well, and then in that case, I would assume that that person would be for a conference room or something
That's what
like
he's
that.
asking.
Yeah.
So then,
So
the public
I'm
facing
saying these
stuff.
three examples, or these three lists ought to be public, the public areas, not necessarily those school specific
Right,
areas.
so that should be clarified.
Well, yeah, we can add a line in there that says
Well,
for anything done at the
It
school
says at
level.
least one of the following factors must be used in naming public facing areas, would be the introductory sentence to those three sub-paragraphs, right?
Naming public.
And then the number three needs to have the language that's in the current policy about if it's financial donor, there can't be any issues relating to bonding, because there are restrictions to sponsorships on bonded public facilities.
Colleen's gonna go back and watch
Sorry,
this
let me
this
find
thing 15 times to get this word.
No, just give me a second and let me find that.
This is my first time writing.
May I make a request while she's processing?
Sure.
I would love, when this gets finished there, to be able to look at this top to bottom, like in print, so that I can read through it.
It will be.
Because I'm thinking of a lot of questions that it may not be appropriate. This might not be the appropriate time to ask them, but before, like you asked for our input, so I don't want to interrupt, but
Ask the questions
I want
now.
to
I'd
be
rather
able to
do it
look
now
through it.
because we're trying to get this done so we can finalize it and have a first reading tonight. So if you've got questions or concerns, probably now's the time to do it.
it's hard for me to keep up with you all.
I know, that's why I started reading it out loud.
I don't have it in front of me to look at.
If we get pretty much what we want, can we count it as the first reading? But basically, if next week, if we decide, hang on, everybody's looked at it, they gave input, and we want to change something, does that restart the reading?
No, the Attorney General says you can make revisions and
So that-
reading.
Okay,
So
so that will suffice there.
The only thing I'm concerned about is involvement by the school admin, because it changes and it doesn't always reflect the desires of the county. Here's a prime example. There was a Hall of Fame committee established years ago. And then that principal came in and didn't want to fool with that and ended it and ended the progress. And then I came in as a different principal and wanted that reestablished and went through that process. But we never know what's going to happen down the road. A new principal comes in and decides they don't want to do that anymore and then abolishes everything that's been created. And that's just something to consider, is that those positions change. And
So is your concern what is being named within the school at the school level, or the ones that have to come before the board?
I think the ones that come before the board, I don't know what the policy says as far as the committee and who's on the committee, that type of thing.
It's coming up next. So table that thought and then hear the committee part and then give the feedback on it maybe. Are we good with that section, Grant? You good there?
I'm not, Colleen, did you find the language I'm talking about? Of maybe
As long as
donors
there,
on-
so I have major donors of school property or continuous major donors that have helped further the development of the school district and or has helped improve opportunities for the staff, comma, as long as there are no issues with any bonding.
Somebody press play on for me.
No. I would do something, but I'm on the camera. I could offer you my gum. District facilities may be named for living or deceased individuals. In the event that any namesake is convicted of a felony, the board shall, at the next regularly scheduled meeting, appoint a committee to determine a new name for all buildings named after that individual. A new name shall be adopted within 60 days of the appointment of that committee.
I have two recommendations about that. paragraph. One is I don't think you should tie your hands that it has to happen at the next regularly scheduled meeting because that could be the same day that a felony conviction happened, or it could be you don't even know that a felony conviction has happened for 2 months if it's somewhere outside the county. Somebody could have moved to Florida and got convicted of a felony there. So I would recommend taking away the next regularly scheduled meeting and just as soon as possible after learning of the felony conviction.
Okay, so how am I changing it?
Instead of at the next regularly scheduled meeting, just say as soon as
Appoint a
possible.
committee. Just scratch off that one part.
And you can say as soon as possible after learning of the conviction. And then the 60 days is fine. It's just you're giving yourself an arbitrary deadline. So if that's in the middle of the winter when you got to cancel a board meeting or two, then you're giving yourself a 60-day deadline. If you're
Well, I just put that in there to prevent us from having to create a special call meeting and spend $1,000 just for the name.
Could 90 be better? I put
I just
90.
don't even know you need to give yourself a deadline. You're creating a committee, and if it's a really embarrassing conviction, you're gonna move as fast as you can move. I just
Okay, just leave
don't
the
recommend giving yourself
deadline
an
out,
arbitrary
period.
deadline.
Get rid of that last sentence?
Yeah.
As soon as possible.
Yeah.
60 days.
Oh, shoot, hang on. So wait, I just deleted that sentence. All right, so,
I'll just take it out.
yeah, we don't need it.
He wanted to change at the next meeting. Regular's gonna be to as soon as possible. Take out.
Okay.
Adopt within 60 days, knock that out too. Yeah. For primary facilities, the committee shall consist of principal of the school, 2 parents that have children in the school for a facility which is being considered for naming 2 community members without direct ties to the school system and 1 sitting board member. The board member will be chosen by the principal of the school. Now- Yeah, well, let me see what I put for.
Primary,
Well, we
primary
also wanted,
facilities is what you're calling public facing
right,
facilities, right?
and we also wanted to add students, so where are we
Yeah,
at
we
right
got,
now?
we got 6 committee members in that committee. We need an odd number.
1 or 3 students?
Committee shall consist of principal, 2 parents with a student, and the facility where the new name is being considered. This is mine, this is not what you wrote. Two community members from the community where the new name is being considered. 1 school board member selected by and asked for by the principal of the requested name change facility. But Jen
We're
put
at the same.
students. I
So-
think at the high school level for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think, does this one have a board member?
Yeah.
Yours has a board member, Philip?
1 sitting board member.
Parents,
Okay.
You should add, select, I
2
should,
community, 1 board member.
1 student.
you almost think it, I don't know how you feel about like if it, depending on the school, the sitting board member for that school be on that committee or just a board member selected?
I left it
or-
blank because, you know, if Mr. Willoughby wants to do something, and he says, Christine, I want you to be my board member, well, Christine's not gonna be available. So you don't tie it to a specific one.
Right, but so it should put in there like that the principal decide the board member.
It does. It says
Do you
that.
have that?
The board member will be chosen by the principal of the school.
Never mind.
What if you just set those up
Edit
to say
replay.
that that's the minimum membership, so it gives the principal discretion whether to choose to add kids, whether to add, like right now you have parents and community members, if they want to add a teacher, if they want to add a classified staff member, so set this as a minimum. If a principal wants a 10-member committee, they can do it. If they want a 6-member committee, so this list is just the minimum.
Shall
They can,
consist of
they can figure out community.
a minimum
representation.
of.
Yeah.
You may not need parents and students to help you figure out what to name this copy room where you're assembling.
Well,
packets of
so
material.
there's a different committee listing for the next one.
This is just public.
This is just
facing.
the public facing.
So
So
for,
yeah, have
Could we just add
word in a
student?
minimum
for the
So that's
of-
student
elementary,
to this
for
one.
like the elementary school, if there's a performance area, you may not want, elementary students may not need to be on the committee.
I think if we specify the middle school and high school.
We can just put a minimum of and then.
I think if you do minimum, that allows high school and middle school to choose whether to add students or classified staff
Well,
member or
We
somebody
need
else.
to change something because the way I've got it written right now is just 6.
Right.
There's a potential for
The principal can fix that, their discretion of how many to add.
This is, if you add a minimum of,
Got it.
then they can.
Mr. Willoughby?
Well, in regards to the middle school and high school, most of these facilities are going to be athletic facilities.
Correct.
And the athletic director should be, in my opinion, a part of that. Now, it could be that and then state for those athletic specific facilities that the AD would be on there.
Yeah, well,
But-
with Grant's wording change, it's a minimum of, so
You know,
you
we
can
can,
add
the
anybody
principal, I
else.
could
that
add
you
that
want
member.
I did put that in my short snippet that I did type, that if they were athletic, the AD should be.
to. Brad's back there going, please, God, no.
Yeah.
Do we,
So we're gonna add one student to that. And then the next one is committees for,
He just said, but a
I'm
minimum
just saying,
of.
say minimum.
oh yeah, minimum of, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, yeah.
minimum, yeah.
Because elementary adding a student may not be meaningful.
All right, so
Are we ready?
Yeah.
the only thing that I'm concerned about is
Uh-oh.
the board member being chosen by the principal. Maybe it's fine, but
He said
it's
something
all-
the superintendent should. do.
well, I don't know. I just, you know, if Mr. Ledford and I are pals and he says, well, this is what I want, he'll vote with me, so I'll choose him.
I guess we'll have to rely on integrity. I mean, if we don't, somebody's gotta make a choice. Do you want the principal to make the choice? You want the superintendent to make the choice, or the board chair, or the board as a whole? I mean.
So
somebody's gotta make
the first thing across my mind was the board member that represents that area, but of course, we all share part of, we all get a snippet of Stanford, I think.
No, actually, I have the high school and the middle school is in my district. I don't have an elementary school in my district. So,
No.
Stanford Elementary is not in your district.
When the regional.
Beginning, it's always
Yeah.
regional elementary.
Highland used
So
to be.
Jim takes in all?
Yeah, yeah, Stanford Elementary's always been
It's all of
it's always been in McKinney District.
What do you guys think? I mean, you guys are the current principals. Do you want the
I
power to
have,
choose
I
a
have a lot
board
of
member?
thoughts, sir.
What's that?
I said I have a lot of thoughts, sir.
Let's hear 'em.
I potentially see this as, this could be very extensive, depending on what folks get excited about naming and who they are interested in representing. And I do not disagree that it is appropriate to honor folks that have earned an honor. I am not against honoring folks that have earned it. And whatever that capacity might be, sports, community, whatever that might be. I know that as the leader of our school, my responsibility is to educate our students, and I want to do that. And I think that is what I've been asked to do. And I don't mind spending time on things that are good for the school, even if it's outside the education of our students. I can see this potentially becoming a huge amount of time. And I know that I have to keep my focus on the education of our students. So if we're going to move forward with this, and it looks like the potential of a lot of things possibly being named coming under the purview of the principal as the building leader, I would like a time limit. Like, I'm trying to think of what that should be. I would prefer to not entertain something all year long. I do not want to focus year long. If we're going to do this, I would like a time frame. And if you would like to vote for, if you would like to submit something to potentially be named,
So you want to say like every January is potential naming. We take requests for potential naming of facilities.
I would like
and
a
only during the
window.
month of January will that be considered?
This is the window, and we will consider it during this window. We'll consider them all. I don't want to do this every month. I'm not saying that I'm opposed to doing it at all. I see it. This could be a big, long process.
Well, when was the
I'd
last
like to
time
do
we
it in one
named
session.
Anybody, even at the school level, like when was the last time you guys?
I guess Stuart Underwood.
No.
Baseball
Field.
field. Oh, Bill Edwards.
When was that?
Right, was that the last time?
See, this is a hot
They
topic
just
right
put it
now
on
because
there.
of what's
It
going
didn't go
on.
before anybody. It just got put on
Baseball and softball is probably what, like 10 years ago, maybe?
I mean, at the school level.
I think if it's anything at the school level, as the principal, you make that decision. If
The
you want to
last
sit your own
thing
timeline, do it.
would probably be Adams Loop at Crab Orchard Elementary.
What is that?
Me.
What is that?
The-
Oh, yeah, the roundabout right there.
Right there at the cafeteria. I ran mine through site base. That's what I did. That was my committee. It was for decades and had taken care of absence of somebody being there all the time. So, that's what it was. I went through the city government and my site base.
I think it's great.
And then as far as board members, Highland's also split. I know we have kids that live in Phillips District and then we have some that live in Glorious. So I don't know how it works for Highland.
The actual schools in
I actually have.
Phillips, but everything on those side 27. But do we not need to put principal or designee to help with that? I mean, she can assign somebody.
Just says that the principal will
The
appoint the
principal-
committee. It doesn't say she has to attend. She can
Grant?
select the committee. Yep, however.
You said the
Just,
committee shall
the
consist of the principal on it.
So I don't have any problem with you all saying the principal can use a designee, so assistant principals or guidance counselors or somebody else can be voluntold that they're on this committee. There's also nothing to answer part of what Ms. Duncan just said. There's nothing at all, you as the chairperson are gonna be the one deciding whether to notice a committee meeting, so you can get 1,000 requests and call 2 meetings. There's no trigger in here that says every time somebody requests something, you have to convene your committee, meet to discuss it. So if you wanna stack them up and discuss them in December, or stack them up and discuss them whenever, you can do that. There's nothing that says every request has to convene a committee meeting.
Thank you, I like that. I want to pick, well, I would.
You're
like
still
to
in
have
control
what
of whether you put your foot on the gas on any request.
Okay, so I'm hearing that it's the principal's decision whether something is brought to the board for recommendation of naming.
Yes.
I think there should be a protocol about,
And that's why we're doing this. Christine's absolutely right. That's the protocol that we are setting with this policy.
but I think there should also be a protocol about how you decide if that person is, lack of a better word, worthy to have something named in your school after them or in our district. I mean, so I don't know how you would even do that.
Will the
Public
committee
side.
develop their
guidelines.
own criteria at the time? I mean, that
I think that would be a good.
that
idea.
happens when you do hiring, is your committee develops hiring or screening criteria.
Like, there's gonna be some basic criteria here.
We gave the 3
And
main.
then I think if you add it to it, is that changing policy?
No, I would not have any problem if you used, to what extent is this reflective of our school? If we're gonna make a recommendation to the board, to what extent does this reflect our school's climate, culture, history, whatever, traditions?
And see, that's the thing about it too, though. If it's something that's gonna be handled at your school and not come to the board, it's your committee. You run your committee how you wanna run it. If it's something that has to come before the board and you bring us up a name and you say, we want to name something, we want to name the gymnasium this, and you give us the name. Well, if we don't feel that it meets the criteria, then that's our option to vote no. Or if we agree with what you present, then we vote yes and it goes forward. It's kind of like a checks and balances. You guys get to set the standard and then we check the standard and we go, I mean, that's how it works. I mean, that's what I envisioned it to be when I wrote it. Maybe if it's not coming across that way, then I didn't do a good job, but that's how I meant it to be.
At the risk of having any other principals throw something at me, based on what I just said for Ms. Duncan, do you all want to set that at a minimum, they have to consider requests at least once a semester or once a year? Because if you had a principal who didn't like naming facilities, they could just never convene a committee and then it never comes to the board.
One time, I think one time should be sufficient.
If they choose to do it more than they
A
should,
minimum
but
of
at a
once a year.
minimum, they have to
And maybe you need
No
to
less than one time a year.
specify
Yeah.
Well,
when that month is, if it's a 2-week period in January or whatever it is. So it's set for everybody
I mean,
Same for every school or at the school's discretion?
at the school. Well, I think it should be left, that committee should be left at your all's discretion or that decision. But
Probably gonna, yeah, it has to be done at least one time a year. You have to consider
No
whatever
less than
names are in
once
front
a
of
year.
you.
I know the high school is probably this is all about. And realistically, I only have 2 things that's not named. We have,
now.
we'll get them
Yeah,
done
currently,
and then
so-
we won't have a problem.
yeah. So my question is about renaming. What if somebody wants to propose a request to rename?
Then you treat it exactly as if the place has never been named before, I would say. The principal gets a committee together, you guys talk about it. If you feel that it needs to be renamed, then you bring it to the board and say, we think it needs to be renamed, this is the new name that we want. This is the rationale for renaming, this is the rationale for the new name. The decision still falls on the board.
I think that sentence needs to be pulled in from the old policy as well. Criteria for renaming facilities shall be the same as those used for selection of original names.
And I'm gonna make that worse by asking for something to be renamed, so.
I know 5 things. You might not have nothing, but I've been approached
The
about
very-
5 different things.
The very first sentence of this new policy that we're working on says the board shall appoint a committee reflective to recommend a name for buildings. So that gives us the power to do so as well. So like, you know, say we made a third baseball complex and all of a sudden we wanted to name it after somebody and nobody has brought it up, that gives us the authority to say, Mr. Willoughby, we feel that the baseball complex needs to be named. We need you to get a committee together to provide recommendations. That's our way of telling you that we want something done. Again, checks and balances.
Okay, where are we?
Grant, you're earning your money tonight, buddy.
Sorry, can we go back to the paragraph where we talked about doing a once a year, the school, I need a
It's
wording
not on
on
here
that.
nowhere.
I know, I need a
Oh.
wording.
In that same paragraph we were just in about finishing with the board member will be chosen by the principal of the school. I recommend just adding a sentence, something like, the principal shall convene this committee at least once per school year.
How about we put that in the paragraph above where you're not talking about committee construction, where you're just more talking about generalities of.
Paragraph above is the one about felonies.
Yeah.
It's not just about felonies, it's about living and dead people too.
Just the first line.
It works
Get
better.
convicted of felonies.
Or how about putting it in the first paragraph then?
Well, it actually works there pretty well.
Which one?
For public facing areas, the committee shall consist of a minimum of the principals, blah, 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 principal.
Well, then you're gonna have to add it.
And then
Yeah,
the
it needs to be in both of those 2 paragraphs. That would end the next one.
The board member will be chosen, and then it said, the principal shall convene this committee at least once per year. I can do the same
As
thing.
required. So if a school doesn't have any recommendations, then they don't have to convene a committee.
Ooh. And, okay, unless no recommendations have been made.
And then add that same thing to the next one.
second
the
one.
Yeah, so the
non-public.
next paragraph is something held at the school level. You wanna read that?
What? For, is that where we're at?
Yeah.
For we're changing it to public facilities that fall under preview of the principal and does not have to be presented to the board. The committee shall consist of the principal, 2 parents that have children in the school, 1 certified staff member, and 1 classified staff member.
Obviously change that to the wording that says minimum of, so the principal has
Says
some leeway.
minimum of, and then add the once per school year.
Principal or designee.
Good.
Keep going.
Keep going. When the facility being named as a newly constructed school, every effort should be made to take input from the community. A new school directly impacts every member of the community, and their input is vital in creating a school atmosphere and that the entire district can be proud of. No questions. A master list of all facilities named primary or otherwise, and that needs to be changed to public or educational, whatever those 2 words, shall be maintained by the superintendent. This list shall be reviewed every 5 years to ensure that each name properly reflects the image and culture the school district wishes to portray.
And then part of it got cut off, so I'll read the rest of it now. It says, this list shall be presented to the board for approval along with any data that would warrant renaming. That was just a
Oh, I didn't.
catch-all there.
Yeah.
And along with any data.
This list shall be presented to the board for approval, comma, along with any data that would warrant renaming. That would be one of those things that if, I don't know, whatever would require a renaming. Not just a request for it, require it.
The superintendent is not on any of these committees, so there needs to be something about reporting these, so he or she can keep that list. Like, when that policy was developed in 23, I started a list. I don't think we've missed anything. There are.
So back up to that paragraph where I talked about in January, each school will convene a committee as necessary. you can add a line in there that says, and shall provide updated list of all facilities at their school name to the superintendent or.
Wouldn't you put that down here, master, when you're talking about the master list?
Colleen, you fix that.
Okay, I have a request.
Here we'll maintain by the superintendent and updated yearly by each principal.
What about facilities that don't have a principal? That's garage, Board of Education.
Falls under
By
the
there.
superintendent, so we have to put it in
Facilities.
That kind of reverts back to that first paragraph, the board can set a committee for.
there. Yep. If it doesn't, then it falls under the board's responsibility. Are you up to date, Colleen? Because I think Gloria wants to add some more, but.
I'm here.
I don't want,
I-
that was the end of what you had wrote. I thought we were done.
Did you add in that maintained by the superintendent and updated by principals each year
Master
for the
list.
master list?
Something.
Oh my gosh, I can't type anymore.
Just don't delete everything.
Yeah.
We ain't doing this again.
Just hit back. Oh,
They got it?
Superintendent shall be maintained by the superintendent and updated annually.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
The principal.
By the principal.
By
Yeah.
Administrator, yeah.
Administrator.
the school, by school administration.
That covers
How's
bus
that?
garage, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to draw this out, but did we include what happens if we want to name something at the board office?
I think there was something about administrative facilities.
Just making
That,
sure.
I think just, yeah, that falls under.
Okay.
The board. We're good there. Yeah.
I think it says administrative.
Would it be okay if we let Colleen email this to all the principals and they can give us our
We will.
input? You will, okay?
We'll send it to you all.
Us and each of the
Grant,
principals.
And then all the principals for them to review.
Because
They can make some notes.
All right.
Make any
Do
changes.
you want to hear this? And it's, do you?
No.
No. It's okay
We
for
trust you,
first
Colleen.
reading? All
We have
right.
video recording set.
All
Y'all
right.
don't know what she's talking about.
I know. So far,
She just named something up for me.
I've got so many things named after me right now.
Some of the existing facilities that have a name, there's some funding associated with, so like, there's going to be that communication so that they know. Just making you aware of that.
Get rid of this.
You could- We can get a copy of it. please.
I will, we'll send this to you.
I'll email this out. Probably
to
tonight.
us and the principals as well.
Yep.
So
All right. let me get back.
this is
Oh, we got
officially
one
the
more.
first reading of the new policy.
Okay, so, and you, yeah, she.
Change order.
Okay, we're moving
No.
on to 7:0.
Does she need to say this was a first reading
Yeah, you
of?
can just declare that's a positive first reading of revisions to policy 5.1 construction, or you can just say what he said.
What grant? Okay, moving on, 7.0, change order number 7, handout, you got, explain what it is. Do I hear a motion to approve change order number 7 in the amount of $1,935.77 for the Lincoln County High School renovation project bid package 2?
Can we just do a brief for the public, what it is?
You mean to read? Brad's got a little summary on there.
That's what we told you about last week, that
Oh.
we got that like today.
No, I understand, but.
It's the baseball field for the sanitary line. It's new, for the new bathrooms. And, they got the price today and the people are still here working, so they want the reason for them to be in it.
Initially, it was priced at about 10,000,
Mhm.
and then they kind of went back and said, no, so they got it down to 1,900, so Brad was pleased.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make one.
Tyler. Philip second, vote Gloria.
Yes.
Philip,
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Do I hear a motion to move? Oh, we got one more. 7P. You want to keep moving this on. Naming facility.
Well, I guess since I started it, I'll bring it up first. Everybody knows what Coach Jackson has done in his tenure as a basketball coach and with in light of him being recognized by the state for regional sports, Lincoln County, the fiscal court and everything else, I feel like the school district that he works for and has done so much for needs to recognize him as well. So I am going to make a motion to name the basketball court after him. Is there any discussion that you guys want to have before I make the motion?
Are you, we can take it up, right?
So if we do that, I have a larger motion scripted that I think you need to address, because you're waiving parts of current policy 5.1, because the things you just talked about changing, you don't have any committee recommendation. You haven't gone through even the new process, but you definitely haven't gone through what the old policy says. So are you all wanting to take up the multiple recommendations like Tyler brought up, or you want to do them one at a time, or what do you want to do?
Well, I had reached out on Friday before, Coach Jackson kind of had some more, it kind of organically took off again from his very nice recognition at the fiscal court meeting. And so I had reached out actually before that to some folks about reaching a compromise on the naming that I felt like most people would support and it could be celebrated. I would like to do them all. I don't think there's any argument that all three of those individuals named have been foundational to Lincoln County. Coach Jackson's record stands for itself. He's been here 2 decades, given so much to us and so much of the players. Coach Meek, like Bill Adlidi being the first coach there who, helped unite the school. I think that speaks volumes. And of course, everybody everywhere knows Jack Denny and all that he's done for not just Lincoln County, but for education. And I don't want to see him left out because he was part of that original
He's the reason.
recommendation.
We got the size of that gym. I mean, he was the one that really advocated for it.
And so I don't care to do them separately or anything, but my personal preference is if we're going to do for one, I'd like to do for all three, and I would like to see all three done.
I guess we certainly need to honor all these. And there's no question they're all deserving, but I still feel like we need to follow the process. Because if we don't, it's going to come back to bite us. Somebody's going to come up and say, well, you set aside your policy and did this. I think we need to follow the process and go wait to our second hearing. And then at our regular meeting in February, then put this back on the agenda and do it then.
I agree with that statement for the basketball gymnasium and for the board office, but considering the school district that Coach Jackson works for is the only person that has not, or the only entity that has not recognized him yet, I feel that warrants a sense of urgency. I think that warrants us waiving the in between the two policies. Let's go ahead and get that done. Get the policy a second reading and then come back and revisit the other two as per our policy. That's my opinion.
Well, I think again, if we do one, we need to do them all, since it's already,
There's no sense of urgency for the other two.
well, I really don't see the sense of urgency for Coach Jackson either. I know everybody's recognized him, and so do I think he's a wonderful, I don't know him personally, but it's a wonderful achievement. And it certainly is a great achievement for Lincoln County that he's been our coach all these years. But the bottom line is we're not following our policy.
And here's just my opinion on it, about why I'd kind of like to do all three. I think if we go ahead and do the court, I worry that that the other group, then you'll kind of take away from the celebration of it, because now you're getting why was this one left out? And then, Jack Denny, and I'm trying to say this with tact, he's in his 90s, I want, if we're going to do it, I want him to be able to enjoy that.
Well, we should have recognized him last year when we had the opportunity the first time.
Well, you may be right, but I'd like to just do them all. Now, I'm one man, I'm one vote, but I would like to just do.
No one has ever brought before this board naming the gymnasium after Coach Meek or naming this office here after Mr. Johnson. I completely agree that both of them have accolades and are deserving of some type of honor, but it's never been brought before the board to have either of these facilities named after them. I can't support naming.
But we don't have, it's also not wasn't an agenda item for Coach Jackson. And like I say, I support Coach Jackson, but the disagreement there between those groups were competing for the court. And so this was my personal idea of, and I'm not saying that for, what I made this idea. It was just, hey, this is a compromise. Maybe this can settle this. We can move on and everybody can feel appreciated.
Well, I don't disagree with honoring them, but the urgency is for Coach Jackson. The
Okay,
other two can follow after the policy has its second reading, and we can do it the right way.
Grant, did you have something to share?
So based on what Tyler has recommended, let me just articulate a complete motion. If it fails to get a second or fails to get a full 3 votes, then we could go, you can take a second motion on what Philip has just said and just do the court and leave the other 2. But I think the cleanest way is to let me do the full motion that I scripted. Again, it either dies for lack of a second or it dies because it doesn't get 3 votes, and then we can move to whatever the next recommended motion would be. So this is in order to deal with what the current policy says and to deal with everything you all just talked about. This is the motion. I hope Colleen can type fast.
And the motion is coming from Tyler.
This is what I suggest the motion state. Motion to waive portions of current policy 5.1 requiring a committee process for facility naming and restricting names to geographic areas and financial donors, and to name the Lincoln County High School basketball court, Coach Jeff Jackson court, to name the LCHS gym, Coach Roger Mink Gymnasium, and to name the facilities at 305 Danville Avenue, Jack D. Johnson Board of Education Complex.
I make that motion.
I will second.
Okay. Call for a vote. Gloria?
No.
Philip?
No.
Jen?
No.
As for Tyler? And I vote yes.
Now I'd like to make the same motion, but with just Coach Jeff Jackson.
Okay, so we need to, hang on a second, because I need to take the next slide. I'm gonna get that wording from you later, right? There's no way I was keeping up with that. I went, okay. All right.
So I make the same motion using the same words that Grant used, except for the naming will be naming the basketball court after Coach Jeff Jackson, Coach Jeff Jackson court.
And I will second.
Vote. Gloria?
Yes.
Philip?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes.
I'll let you know the time of personal names.
I think that they should have to bring that to us.
All right, we're making a motion to go to executive session. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Tyler?
The motion needs to include the subsection.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go start back over. Move to executive session for KRS 61.8101F, discussions or hearings which might lead to the discipline of a student. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Tyler, second.
Second.
Jen, vote. Gloria?
Yes.
Philip?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you all for being We will now return to, open session. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Jan?
Second.
Gloria? Gloria?
Yes.
Philip?
Yes.
Jan?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you all.
Oh, yeah.